How do we make education a top priority here in Michigan? Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Laurel Hess and this is Comcast Newsmakers. Our topic today is public education. Here to discuss it with us is State Representative Jeff Irwin, a Democrat from the 53rd District, which represents the city of Ann Arbor. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And you are big on the education bandwagon, certainly as most of us here in Michigan are right now, that if we're going to consider one thing as a top priority in our state right now and try to turn it around, it should be public education.
Yeah, education is the most important thing that state government does for the people here in Michigan, and having strong schools and having strong universities is what's going to drive Michigan's economy forward.
So then what do we need to do? Certainly all kinds of budget woes right now with districts claiming they don't have enough money to educate properly. Is that the only issue, or what other issues are out there, and what do we do to try to improve public education right now?
Well, there's a lot of issues, and we need to focus on student achievement, but the funding is a big part of it. And the school districts are right. They don't have enough money. And the reason they don't have enough money is because Lansing's not sending the money down to the school districts where it's supposed to go. Back in 1994, the voters made a promise to our schools that we were going to fund them through Proposal A. And unfortunately, this year, the legislature drew about $1 billion out of the school aid fund to fund those dollars, put those dollars into other priorities besides our K-12 schools.
They will say that they put the money into higher education. They moved some of that funding into trying to keep tuition costs down for colleges, which certainly we're all on board and in favor of that as well.
Absolutely. I'm a huge supporter of higher education. University of Michigan's right in the heart of my district. The best economic development engine in our entire state is the University of Michigan. However, the universities aren't going to tell you that they're getting more funding. The universities are going to tell you that they took a 15% cut this year. So the dollars that were meant to go to K-12 and the dollars that were meant to go to higher ed just haven't been getting there.
Is that the only issue? Is it strictly a funding issue? If we poured a lot more money into public education, would everything be all better?
No, of course not. We really need to focus on student achievement. We need to make sure we get literacy rates up. We need to make sure we get graduation rates up. And we need to make sure that we still have some of those elements in our schools that are important to build complete people. We need to have arts. We need to have athletics. These shouldn't be extras that parents have to pay hundreds of additional dollars to have their children participate in.
And then how important is it to educate our citizens in general as to how important education is? Because there seems to be a little disconnect that not everybody really values education as much as they probably should.
Right. I mean, of course, our children are our future. We have all these cliches, and I want the best sort of education for my children. But it's not just about the future, it's about today. Property values are based largely on the quality of the public schools in the community that your home sits in, and that's the biggest investment most of our families have. Companies, the best companies with high-paying jobs that you can raise a family on, those kind of companies are looking for great communities to locate on. They're looking for communities with great schools, and we need to be that kind of place.
And when we're talking about public education, we're also talking about higher education. So let's talk about colleges, universities a little bit. How do we, once we value that as something that we need, a college degree, how do we make that affordable for just about anyone?
Absolutely. Well, when we cut our schools 15%, that's going to increase tuition. And most of our universities are looking at tuition increases in the range of 6 or 7% next year, which is certainly a big increase when people's incomes are going down and when our economy is struggling the way it is. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that we provide opportunities for our best and brightest to go to Michigan schools. One of the ideas that I've thrown out there is an income tax rebate such that you can get a loan to attend school. And if you stay in the state of Michigan and you pay taxes in the state of Michigan, some of those dollars that you're paying in taxes go to extinguish your loan. That would be a great way to provide an opportunity for smart young people in Michigan to go to school and to get a higher education, and it would be a way to keep them here in Michigan so that they're contributing their talents to our economy.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. Certainly a long way to go, bringing up test scores, increasing achievement, working out the funding issue. Hopefully we've got some smart folks in Lansing all working on that and getting that all turned around. Thanks again for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a tremendous honor to serve the great state of Michigan.
Today's Comcast Newsmaker was State Representative Jeff Irwin, a Democrat from the 53rd District.